welcome to
Burger Edition.
The show where we review burgers and go terribly off topic. This is episode 105. I'm Sebastian.
I'm Matt.
And this week we went to Maison Boulud. 1228 Sherbrooke Street West in the Ritz-Carlton, Montreal.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah.
I was there, I know.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Let's just let everybody know, in case they're unaware, in case they haven't looked at a calendar. It is Halloween.
Today is Halloween, so we've got a very spooky edition of the podcast here for you.
Oh.
And for such a spooky episode, I thought we should go somewhere where there may be ghosts.
That was your reasoning.
Yeah, the Ritz-Carlton opened in 1912.
Okay.
So I figured there's probably a couple people who've died there in over a century and 6 years.
I've got to say that the spookiest, scariest thing about this restaurant is the price of their burgers. that is what almost sent me running.
So they've got one burger on their lunch menu. It's a $31 burger.
Yeah.
And I felt bad going to such a fancy place and only getting a burger, so I also bought a $21 soup.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, it was by far the fanciest soup I've ever had.
I mean, you saw the creation of soup in front of your very eyes.
I love the way you said that. I was sitting there. They presented before me a bowl of vegetables topped with cheese, vegetables and legumes, I suppose. Mm-hmm. And then they had like a vase or something, basically. This nice little porcelain vase, black and red, I believe it was. And they poured the broth out. And he said, and now for the soup itself, I think he said. And now for the soup itself, and he poured it into the bowl. I kind of hoped he would leave that little carafe thing so that I could still have more soup broth if I wanted.
Yeah.
I guess that's not how they roll.
No. I feel like you can't give them any suggestions. It's the way they do it or the highway.
Exactly. It's a fancy place. Let's just try to look like we belong.
Yeah.
We didn't try that hard.
No.
But, we tried to pretend to be kind of fancy a little bit.
Yeah, when we walked in, I thought that they had... Well, what it turned out they were saying is, would you like us to take your coats?
Yes.
But what I thought we were in for trouble because I thought they said, do you need to rent a coat? Do you need to rent like a suit jacket?
It's fancy, but it's not that fancy where a blazer is required. I don't know if I've ever been to a place where a blazer is required anymore.
Oh, yeah. I really thought that's what they were doing, and when you had answered them, it was like, no, we're all right. And she looked a little shocked, and then she led us to the very back of the place. I thought we were going to be eating in the alley, Lady in the Tramp style.
No. We actually went to a nice, I guess, a sunroom sort of area. I think it's a terrace in the summer, but in the winter they close the ceiling off, and it's sort of like a greenhouse effect.
Too bright.
It was nice though. It's nice to enjoy the sunlight. It's
nice when we're wearing, I've got cat hair and dandruff on my black T-shirt. Yeah. You're wearing just a generic blue sweater. I don't even know that kind of thing existed. It seems like the kind of thing, a cartoon character would wear, just because there's no information.
There's no logo. There's no nothing. Yeah, it's a very plain blue sweater.
And they set us.
I like it though.
It's nice. It's a nice sweater. But they just sit us down in the brightest area. Usually when we go to fancy places and we're not dressed for it, at least it's dark everywhere.
Yeah, and they usually put us in a corner in a fancy place.
Yeah.
And I remembered, Matthew, I sort of broke with tradition. I remembered to spit out my gum before entering a fancy restaurant, as opposed to sticking my gum underneath the table at only the fanciest of establishments, because they have fabric napkins.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that you didn't do that this time, because the lighting was far too bright, and
they would have seen that gum from they would have had a person to come over and get down on one knee and accept the gum in his hand or something. Like
they had a different waiter for everything, it seemed.
Yeah,
someone for the pouring the broth, mm-hmm. someone for bringing of the bread,
someone for taking of the payment. It was everyone had their own specific job.
Yeah,
that they did very, very well.
Yeah, I felt like royalty.
Now,
felt like maybe they finally. I think our reputation has finally caught up with us, and the Ritz-Carlton they had their head in the game.
Mm. Now, before we really get into the meat of this burger, no pun intended, we're going to do some spooky, scary stuff, Matthew.
Oh yeah.
You asked me to write down some some titles for spooky stories?
Well, it's a different setup from what we normally have, but I
Yes.
think that we can just go back and forth from talking about the burger and mixing in some spooky tales where we'll give ourselves, maybe 2 minutes to come up with a story.
I like the idea.
And we'll just, whatever we come up with, that's going to be what it is.
Rapid fire.
I failed to come up with any spooky titles for stories.
Yes, you did.
So I just quickly kind of mad-libbed it, wrote down a bunch of things, and I'll just pick
We've
two
got two
cards.
stacks here, and we'll put them together and see what kind of titles we get.
But I do like when I said maybe we'll come up with a bunch of scary stories like Are You Afraid of the Dark style, and then you texted me when I had asked you, it's like, oh, so any scary stories? And you wrote, can I just give one away now?
Sure, yeah, sure.
So, The Haunted Canoe. And I was like, oh, what's that? What's that story about? And you're like, that's literally all I have, those two words, the haunted canoe.
Yeah, I
was
think
like,
I text you, all I have is the haunted canoe, and you're like, oh, that sounds like a great story. No, all I have is those words, the haunted canoe.
And I was like, okay, we're going to have to rethink what we're going to record.
I have not fleshed this title out any
well,
further.
Let's just start off with The Haunted Canoe.
The haunted canoe. Okay, the haunted canoe, Matthew. What is this story?
Well, let's set it up first. Let's
Okay.
go. Are You Afraid of the Dark style? Submitted for the approval of
The
Cadone
Midnight
Janko
Society.
Burger Society. We call this tale The Haunted Canoe.
Picture a foggy lake, a canoe, splitting the water.
Is there anybody in this canoe?
Nobody's in the canoe.
Is this canoe in Canada? Is this
Yes.
a Canadian horror story?
Indeed it is.
All right.
A loon echoes in the distance.
Okay.
What is propelling this canoe? We do not see it.
An undercurrent.
Is it because of the fog that we do not see who is piloting the canoe?
Oh, I thought it was an undercurrent.
It could be that undercurrent. Or it could be that the canoe is haunted.
How does one haunt a canoe?
But piloting it from the afterlife?
I suppose. Did they die in the canoe? Is this canoe cursed? Or no, just haunted?
It's haunted.
Just manned by a ghostly figure.
Sure.
Okay.
A spirit.
Are we entirely sure that all ghosts mean to do people harm?
No. Casper was a friendly ghost.
He was, but they had to add that, the friendly ghost, because in
'Cause
general
it's
ghosts are
exceptional.
not.
That's true.
He was the exception.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like, you see like these ghost shows where people like have temperature sensors and night vision goggles, and they go in a house and they're like, oh, I sense it. And there's like a little girl who's just like still there.
Yeah.
Like not really doing any harm, just there.
Just fear of the unknown,
Yeah.
perhaps.
That's what people have. Are people scared of this canoe?
I think they would be.
It is a drunk woodsman who has unfinished business. He didn't finish cutting down that tree,
Okay.
and now he pilots his canoe across the lake forever.
Oh, but as a ghost.
Yeah, sure, why not? Yeah.
Okay.
It's a haunted canoe.
I understand the concept. I understand the title. I just want to know, is this a short story? Is this I guess they're all just short stories. I just want
Some
to know.
of them could be feature films.
Well, maybe The Haunted Canoe sounds like it could definitely.
I think the haunted canoe is a short story. It's a fable, perhaps.
Okay.
A tall tale.
I like the idea that there are no humans in this story.
So far.
It's just this canoe along its way from Thunder Bay to
Moose Jaw.
Moose Jaw, sure.
Just two very Canadian sounding places.
And you got a lot of people. Okay, if there are people, it's just spectators who like see the canoe and is like, well, there goes that haunted canoe everyone's been talking about.
That canoe is out for a rip, isn't it? I don't know what that accent was. It wasn't very good.
The canoe's out for a rip, isn't it? What, a rip? I don't know.
Like a rip roaring good time.
Maybe. Real spooky. I like it. I think we'll elaborate on it in the future.
All right, Matthew, let's get into one of your titles. This is a Mad Lib title. So Matthew's got a stack of sentences, and then with blanks, and then he's going to fill in the blank from another stack of words. What do we have?
All right, submitted for the approval of the.
I don't think we need to say
we
that
don't
every
have to say it
time,
every time. I call this tale. They came for the wrong pants.
Oh,
Now,
oh,
on the face of this, it seems like this is a heaven sent. This is exactly what I would want. I want whoever they are to come and take away all the wrong pants. Because we've talked about this, and if you're not familiar with every single episode of the show, if I'm wearing the wrong pants...
I don't know why they shouldn't be. Over 100 episodes. I don't understand why anyone would not be familiar with every minute of it.
This little nugget may have come up once or twice, but if I'm wearing the wrong pants when I go to eat a burger, I'm having a terrible time. And it's, a horrific time, really.
For example, pancakes and corduroy don't go well together.
No, anything with syrup, you'd almost not want to be wearing pants. But you don't want it if you got hairy legs. You don't want syrup in the hair.
If you shave your legs, can you have waffles?
Nope. You shave your legs, then you have to deal with the ingrown hair situation, and your skin gets a little bumpy unless you're used to creaming your legs.
Waxed, nair, something else. No ingrown hairs of concern. Can you now have French toast?
I feel like you've never used nair on your entire body.
No, I have not,
and it does not turn out well.
I've never used it whatsoever. Okay. They came for the wrong pants. Perhaps it could be that they came for all the pants that you can wear with foods that you'd want to eat. So they came for the wrong pants.
So they're coming down, and I greet them with open arms, and I'm saying, you know what? Take all the pants you want because you're after the wrong pants. Turns out that their idea of the wrong pants are actually my idea of the right pants. And so
that's right.
The story is I'm going out after, and I'm
Are these you're saying they came down and you're like, heaven sent, are angels coming to steal your pants?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So angels come down.
Angels are coming down.
They bestow upon you the challenge of eating food while wearing any pants.
Yeah.
So that you can maybe grow as a person. It's they're helping you out.
But in that seems like a very satanic way of helping somebody out. That seems like a devil's promise.
It's through trials and tribulations. This is God testing you.
Yeah. So I say they come down. I think they're going to be doing me a favor, and I'm like, I'm on board.
Yes.
Take all of my pants that are the wrong pants.
Thank you, angels.
And then as they leave, I'm waving goodbye, and
then you notice.
I notice
out of the bag, just a leg of jean unfurls, and you go, "Oh no!" Then what pants did they leave me with? It's only sweatpants and corduroys.
And that's the classic scene of me dropping to my knees and cursing out the angels.
No, God, why have you forsaken me? And then God presents you with a buffet of saucy, drippy meals.
Oh yeah, no, it's exactly like that Twilight Zone episode where this guy's finally been given all the books in the world to read, but his glasses are broken.
Oh.
And what are you going to do? It's torment. It's hell. This seems like the story. All right. Done.
The end. All right, let's do one more, and then we'll get into the burger a little bit.
Yes, let's.
Okay, so let me throw another title at you. Some of these are just so vague so that we can have fun with them.
Okay.
The Tale of the Red Wave.
The Red Wave?
What does that mean?
Sounds, I don't know. Do you have any idea? Where did you come up with it? Where were you when you came up with this?
I was sitting on the metro.
Okay. Now, was
nothing red around there. It was just, I started with the tale of, then I filled in the red, that's a color. And I went, I don't know, let's go with wave. So it could be a tidal wave of blood. It could be something from Mars. It could be
red, really.
It could be Soviets.
Okay. So the wave isn't necessarily like
it doesn't need to be an actual wave. It could be a figurative wave.
It could just be like, the wave, this new
of
wave
communism
is sweeping the nation.
Yeah.
So what's something... So communism is sweeping the nation. And we are not at peace with this.
Sure. And then we realize that things can go bad from here. The people turn on each other because communism is not for us.
We just haven't given it the chance.
We
right?
don't give it a fair shake.
No.
And so we turn to brutality. We attack each other. And then the streets run red with blood.
Oh, so it's a double meaning.
It's both. Oh, you think it's the red wave because of the communists. Then by the end of the story, there was another red wave coming.